Brass Facts here. Today, a PSA on the PSA Dagger. Yeah, I spent a little too long thinking about that intro. Alright, for those not in the know, the PSA Dagger is the result of the Glock Gen 3 patent running out, or something. I don't know. Details are unimportant. What is important is the PSA Dagger is a copy of the Glock 19 Gen 3. And on paper, you get a facsimile of a Glock 19. There are some slight external changes. As you can see, these don't look identical, but interior, this is almost identical to a Glock 19, copied in almost every regard, right? Because that patent ran out, and the goal here, I think is quite evident, is to create a cheaper Glock. This is incredibly attractive for those that want a Glock but don't want to spend $550, or as it is right now, these things are going for close to $700. But in normal times, these go for about $550. So, internally, this is identical to a Glock. So I wanted to mention a PSA today because the review that I'm working on for this firearm is quite a bit way out because I really want to test reliability, so I'm going into a much higher round count level, and that obviously takes time. I'm not just going to blap rounds into the side of a dirt mound because I just don't have that kind of money. So I want to mention a quick PSA here because it's going to be a while before I get to my review, and thus I can't talk about it anytime soon. And I'm noticing these daggers are finally becoming available on PSA's website. They're quite hard to get. Thus, the consumer is going to want to know, what's up. So I'm going to talk about out-of-the-box issues with the dagger. You could probably tell by the title or the thumbnail or whatever I'm going to end up doing. There are two issues. Number one, the dovetail is noticeably undersized, such that removing the rear sight and putting in a new rear sight, or in this case a sight base, is very difficult. The assumption is you can just use regular Glock sights and they will fit here. Yes, that's technically true, and I also know this is tapered, but myself and a lot of other people online have had serious issues getting a sight or a sight base into the Glock dagger. If I had to guess, it's because the sight was designed to work with non-Cerakoted setups, and this is Cerakoted. And they might have not planned for that. I'm not 100% sure what it is. All I know is I had a hell of a time getting this in, and many people online have had issues getting it in, which is a phrase I should have not said in that exact phrasing. Regardless, I think this is probably a defect more so than a design issue, but it is worth noticing. It is very difficult to get a rear sight base into here, but people have obviously done it. Number two, and most importantly, however, the PSA Dagger does not work with most Glock holsters. Some people have told me that this is obvious, right? This is a PSA pistol. Of course it doesn't work with a different manufacturer's holster. But me and many other people, and honestly PSA themselves, have kind of touted this thing as a Glock clone. And it is literally a Glock clone. So the expectation that it works with Glock parts, or more specifically in this case, a Glock holster, is kind of a given. And if you go on to the PSA, like if you went to SHOT Show and talked to PSA as I did, or many other people, you can watch the videos, or you look at most reviews, everyone views this as a Glock clone that should use Glock stuff, but this does not use a Glock holster. So the prospective buyer might go into this expecting A, it works with their current Glock holsters, or B, they can just instantly get into the Glock market and just go to any holster manufacturer and get a Glock holster. And that is not the case right now. There are very few, what is this called, PS9 or Glock Dagger holsters available on the market. Very few. Partially because I think most people think this works with a Glock holster. Anyway, let's get into it. Number one, this does not work with a lot of just plain Glock holsters. Here is a, what is this, Eidolon from Raven Concealment. Glock 19, Gen 3 actually. Clicks in, good to go. PSA Dagger, duh. Looks like it clicks in. There is no retention. And you might say, just adjust the retention. That's not the issue. If you look here, this holster impedes the further travel of the dagger. This is a Glock 19, and as you can see, it can go even further, and it clicks in. I tried adjusting this. This will never retain a PSA Dagger. So yeah, this does not work with an idle on. Here is where the fun begins, though. Once you start putting a... Here is where the issues really begin. This isn't in all the way, but it's a pain in the ass. So... God damn it, where's that holster? No, where did you put the holster? So here is a incog from G-Code. I think it in production with Halo Strategic, whatever, doesn't matter. Surefire XC1. Nope. You can see it doesn't, like you can see down here, it's not going in. Okay, that's on. No problem. I guess that the retention's kind of shitty right now, but you can see it mostly hangs onto it. Boom. So it's a bit loose, but I haven't used this holster in a long time. Oh my god, gotta take this shit off again. Next holster. Here's one. That's a, what are you? You're a T-Rex Arms Sidecar Gen 2, the one with the little thing that you can attach to. This one's interesting because this really illustrates what the actual issue is. So here's a TLR1HL, which is what this holster is designed to use. So you'll notice this one actually, if I hold the holster as it should be dimensioned, it won't go. But if I let go and let the holster flex, this will actually allow the PSA Dagger in. But you can see how much the flexing is going on to allow this holster to facilitate this handgun. And furthermore, this might be a combination issue of this handgun with this light, with this holster, all of them kind of working in concert, but you can over-insert a PSA Dagger into a Ragnarok holster. Boom, works fine. You can actually over-insert the regular Glock as well, but you can see over here the retention or the bulging of the holster isn't nearly as bad. So you can, it used to be like this, and now it is like this. Next up, this guy. This is actually meant for my Roland Special, but it works with a regular setup Glock 19. That's on. Boom. Good retention. That's on. And this is an interesting case. This actually fits. I can feel plastic shaving on the way in, but this actually works. So this does show that the PSA Dagger is quite close to being correct on tolerance, but not quite there, because it does indeed work with this holster. This holster is not a Raven concealment, though it does have Raven concealment clips. This holster is a K-rounds, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a long, long time since I've got this holster. But this is actually one of my main daily carriers. X300, which is what this is designed for. This will not even remotely go. So this wouldn't actually technically work anyway, because it's got this sweat guard, so the optic would get in the way. But you can see it already doesn't go this part, and there's no impedance back here. This holster just does not work with the Dagger. Why? Well, it's actually pretty simple. As you might imagine, especially with the issue with the light-bearing holsters, the Glock Dagger is not the same size. The Glock Dagger is not the same size as a Glock 19. Focus, you fuck! As you can see, the lower rail is significantly lower. This is a big deal, especially for light-bearing holsters, which index off of the light as retention, not the trigger guard. At least in most cases, the positioning shift, even if it's only like a couple millimeters, make for a holster incompatibility issue because the light sits that couple millimeters lower. Because most holsters, like I said, index off of the light, this becomes an issue. Similarly, in some cases, like this Raven concealment holster, it has a very flush fit to the bottom of the handgun, the light rail. And yeah, having your light rail slightly lower makes it incompatible. Once again, doesn't index because it doesn't clip in at this mark right here, which is supposed to clip in on the Glock's rail section right here. Hey, so hopefully this helped you out. A lot of people, myself included, went into this thinking that the PSA Dagger was a Glock facsimile, and it basically worked across the board with all Glock things, and that's obviously not the case here on the Glock Dagger. Son of a bitch, the PSA Dagger. Cool. Thanks for watching.